Even when I was training when we were in competitive sports years back, competitive hockey years back, we never did this style of training, which I find is keep me young. That's the routine. Every morning, making sure we're doing 2 or 3 different exercises, gets the heart pumping at the same time, keeps you feeling young.
I was the last one awake.
You were. Do you want to have a bite for breakfast?
Yeah.
Okay. Mommy has something for you.
Please take a picture of us.
Okay, read this.
How far is it from Calgary to
Toronto. I'm a big fan of hockey. If I could watch hockey every day, I would. I think competitive-wise, like competition, what you learn in sports, you learn how to be competitive and work with a team and be disciplined. And yeah, I think he learned all of that from there, his hard work ethic.
Run it on loop. You don't have to worry. Yeah, right. It looks like a long visit. We just haven't left yet.
What happened to your workout?
Melissa said, build it.
So, in addition to exercise, you get the juices flowing. A little cup of Java. That's how I kick it off. A little espresso, a little extra water. That's it. Keeping it simple. So now running our own business, one of the most beneficial parts that I never saw coming is just in complete control of time. Because when these people come along, it's a different game altogether. So when we first started our business, we didn't have kids, and control of time wasn't as much of a factor, but now you add them into the equation, and being able to enjoy, especially the mornings, they're happiest in the mornings, is phenomenal. And being able to pick and choose how long you spend with them and what you do with them is, you can't put a price tag on that. That's why I love business in general, right? You have a bit of control over that, especially a business that's properly run, got a good system in place. You don't have to worry about being there all the time. That's the business that you want, right? Because this is what you want at the end of the day, is the quality time with them, so you can watch them have hot chocolate for breakfast in the morning.
Chopper, stabbed and dropped. They'll send the runner home. The throw to the plate gets away. And TCU is going to Omaha.
I believe even looking back on the sports career, regardless of what it was for anybody, anytime they've ever accomplished something of some significance, I believe they've always had a routine or certain behaviors that led up to that. I look back at my career, and there was nothing but like a solid routine that we had on a daily basis. It was so predictable, and it worked. So you got to find a routine that works. So it's one thing kind of being in a routine, which I think, well, everybody is to some degree, but how is that allowing you to perform at a high level, right? And that's why you got to make some tweaks to your routine, and that's change, and that's not comfortable for most people. But once you get into that point where you've made some changes and seen some success, the back end of that far outweighs any pain of change that people have going into it. So that's why the morning routine is always so vital to kick off for me. It establishes a little bit of discipline, keeps some personal integrity with myself, but I know that the exercise, the diet, the seeing the kids, all that stuff basically allows me to accomplish what I need to throughout the day.
Quick message before we hop on our Zoom call at 10. So as you guys know, I spoke to my old college baseball team yesterday on Zoom, and went super well. It was awesome to see, you know, the guys and the coaches. But here's what's very interesting right now, what's happening in the college baseball world. There's about 40 to, let's say 40 kids, 35 to 40 kids that they have to go basically get thrown in the ring and dogfight for a starting job. And some of these kids will, you know, the coaches will have to tell their parents and their families that unfortunately it's just not going to work out this year, just based off of the circumstances. There's just way too many kids. So when I was given, you know, speeches early on, where with baseball, you know, it's all good, it's all about your talent and skill level and work ethic, but eventually there's a scout or a coach in the stands watching you, telling you if you're good enough. And so when I started here, I said, man, I can, like, this is finally my game. There's no scouts in the stands, there's nobody watching me, nobody grading me, it's on me. It's on me every single day to wake up, get to work, help some people, make phone calls, and do the right thing for the consumer, and nobody's telling me if I'm good enough or not. You know, if I have a bad day, I can go to sleep, wake up again, and repeat. You know, the issue with, you know, with college sports or athletics is if you have a bad game, you know, that could potentially be it for you for the rest of the year. Here we always get to restart. Every morning we get to restart. Again, you had a bad day yesterday, so what? It's over. Restart today. You know, you have a bad day again today, so what? Go through your routines, make sure you have a good structure, be accountable to somebody, boom, next day restart. It's on you. And that's the best part. You know, just hearing that, watching these kids, I know what they're thinking because I've been there. You know, and quite frankly, there's other companies in the industry where it's like that. You don't perform, you don't meet a sales quota, you're gone. You know, that's the beauty of our company, is no one's breathing down your neck. You got no quotas, but man, go and set some high expectations for yourself. You know, let's get after it. The time is now. People need what we do more than ever. We know that. They need what we do more than ever. Let's double down. Let's double down. Let's make our contacts. Let's mobilize to events. And again, I'm going to say it every single day. You will be so glad that you did once this is over. Because we are going to be busting up the seams. We'll have 20, 30, 40 people waiting to get licensed when this is done. And we're going to blow this up. There'll be marketing director promotions. There'll be senior marketing director promotions. And I know that you guys are all going to be a part of it. So let's have a great day, you guys. Let's go and make sure that we execute our plan. Again, let's have another killer day.
Name of our company, World Financial Group, top tier financial brokerage in North America. And did I ever think I'd be in the financial game when I was playing professional golf? Not really. But now I've learned it's just another platform for me to achieve my vision, my goals that I had when I played professional golf. And now I'm achieving those with this platform and with this incredible company. And listen, this company is going to go from your head to your heart as it did for me. No family left behind. That's on our wall. That's our mission.
Faster than the ball's been rolling, right? What else do you do? Yeah. No. Yeah. Not difficult. I can get you online and get you set up. Yeah. On the technology side of front, doing things a little bit differently, more efficiently, more scalable. Right. It's easy to follow though. We've been doing like the volume's going through the roof right now just because it's, like I said, it's all scalable. You start making progress here, and Tony Robbins said this, he says, progress is happiness. So as long as you're progressing somewhere. That's it. You're right there. You're right there. When are you writing?
At noon.
Nice. Good luck.
Thanks.
So anytime somebody starts something new, something different, there's always a certain element of doubt and their ability to actually get it done. Right? So just think about when you were learning how to skate. You didn't go through reading a bunch of textbooks or watching a bunch of YouTube videos. No, you actually skated. You actually went through the motions. That's called experiential learning. And as you went through those motions, you got more and more confident. in your ability to do it. I'm going to do the same thing with you. Right? We're going to actually go through the motions. That's how we can get people going so quickly here and get results so quickly, is because I'm going to be lifting all the weight for you. I'll be doing most of the work, and you're going to be experiencing this and learning. And over time, you're going to get good. You're going to get confident, just like anything else, just like skating. And as you start to get confidence, eventually you're going to not just want to do it on your own, you're going to want to train other people in the process. And that's my goal for you.
I knew I wanted to be an athlete from the minute I was born. I could run and do cross country, and we raced competitively motocross growing up, and then golf eventually took over. But there was no question. My parents used to ask me, what university are you going to, or what are you doing after high school? And it wasn't even a question for me. I was going to play professional sports. I never even thought about a plan B, or if it didn't work out. The shelf life of a golfer attracted me more than playing in the CFL for 4 or 5 years, or a hockey player the shelf life of some of our top sports for an athlete just isn't as long as I wanted to play sport for my entire life. I never wanted to not play professional sports, so golf fit that void for me, and I had to work harder than everyone else. But that's what sport taught me is the work ethic, is the discipline, and hard work does pay off. So when I turned pro in 2007, I was like, I'm here, I'm doing it, I'm living my dream. But then, towards the 6 years in, then I started to get sick. And I started to get really sick, and when I got diagnosed with Crohn's, I didn't think, okay, this might hold me back. To me, it was just another challenge I had to get over to achieve my goals. And then I ended up in the hospital, and I had a very candid conversation with my surgeon where he said, Trapper, if we don't get you in the operating room, your future is in question right now. And I said, well, what do you mean my future? Like, how bad is it? And he's like, your entire colon is the disease has taken over, and it's killing your body, and we got to take it out. I said, okay, well, how long till I can be playing golf again? That was my only concern, was how long will it take me to get back on the golf course? And he said, our main focus right now is to get you healthy and get you, out of this hospital, which I'd been in. At that point, it was in and out of the hospital every week or two. And so I went in September 25th, 2010. I went into surgery to have my entire colon removed. And about 5.5 hours later, I got out of surgery. I had an external ostomy pouch attached to the side of my abdomen. But I was like, okay, this is, we're moving forward. What's next? And I was recovering on time. I was hitting all the right marks, but sometimes in life, when you get knocked down and you're getting back up for the 10 count, you stumble a little bit, and it, doesn't always go as planned. And what had happened was there was a tear in my internal stitches, and basically my body was poisoning itself, and it was killing me like instantly. And I was an hour or two away from death, and my surgeon came in, and by that point I had already blacked out. I remember vividly it being kind of peaceful and white around me, and just drifting and thinking, man, this is it. This is the end. And then all of a sudden it was just bam, and I came to, and I've never in my entire life been in so much pain, and I was screaming. I remember my family telling me they were out in the hallway and they could hear the god-awful screaming coming from my room, and they had rammed adrenaline into my body to, you know, basically pull me back, rush me back into surgery. I had to go into an emergency surgery, and they cut me wide open, 14 inches down my stomach, 13 inches across my abdomen, and had to, you know, flush my body, re-sew everything back up, and I spent 45 days in the ICU recovering from this emergency surgery that, you know, I was hours, if not minutes away from death. And then, you know, it was this slow process of recovering and getting back on my feet. And I realized, you know, a lot of talks with my surgeon, my doctors, my specialists, that I wasn't going to be able to play golf at the level that I had been playing, and my dream just kind of hit a wall there. And I had identified myself as a professional athlete for so long, I didn't know where to go. I didn't know who I was, and I drifted. I was, you know, we talk about hitting rock bottom. I thought my surgery was rock bottom, but it was after that was my rock bottom. You know, then, you know, the athlete in me finally kicked back in, and I said, well, maybe my dream has just changed. And the truth is, my dream had changed, and it changed to World Financial Group, and the company here that, you know, feels like, you know, we're fighting for championships, and we're fighting to get better, and our personal growth and the competitiveness and that fire that burnt in me back then when I played golf, all of a sudden it's lit again. And every day I'm fired up to achieve my goals here and push my body, my mind, and my career the way I had back then. And this platform has given me that, given me the ability to keep chasing the career that, you know, maybe it was over for golf, but it keeps going for me now because I'm an athlete. I'll always be an athlete. Whether I get sick, I get injured, you know, I'm permanently changed physically, I'm still an athlete up here. And this company allows me to take all those attributions that I had as an athlete, all those skills I developed, and achieve the great things that I've always known I was meant to do.
So our business is a bit of a hybrid business model. So it's got elements of all of these different business structures. We're taking the best out of all of these different business models. So everybody's familiar with a corporation. Everybody's likely worked for a corporation before. Why they work so well is the simple fact that they have structure. There's clearly defined like roles and responsibilities. Okay? But the challenging part there is we hit a glass ceiling. There's only so much money we're ever going to make in those specific roles, having those responsibilities. Okay? Another business structure is a franchise. These work extremely well. This is like now a typical way people get into business. And people love these because there's a system in place. There's a process for everything that's being done. It's already set up and it's proven successful. The big challenge with these is the big price tag that goes with these. Not everybody's sitting on multiple six figures to get these things rolling. We also have elements of network marketing. The powerful part about this is you have an unlimited market. You think of like a realtor. How does a realtor really go out and get clients? They're networking, right? And anybody can be their potential client. The downside to a lot of network marketing is you need tons of people and you need tons of product if you actually want to make a living doing it. Right? And the last way is the agency model. So agencies are fantastic because you can actually have ownership. And people who have ownership in something or anything are far more likely to work hard and enjoy that work because they actually own it. But with most agency models, you're required to put in a bunch of time, like years, and at the end of all those years, we still got to put in a bunch of money. Right? So what our business does, as a hybrid business model, what we've done is we've actually left behind all the stuff that we don't want, and we just simply kept all the stuff that works and works extremely well. And for that reason, this is why this business is taking off. This is why we've had the growth that we've had over the last couple decades. Find the joy.
Okay. All right, I will see you later.
Okay, sounds good. See ya. The day, you cannot expect what you don't inspect. So you got to track your numbers, right? So we do this on a kind of a monthly, but there's some powerful reporting tools that we have on our business platform that allows us to get into historical numbers and basically patch any holes in the boat. That's what we got to do, is focus on what's going well and what's not. You got to be able to inspect your numbers and figure out what that happens to be if you want to increase your performance, right? It's no different than, hey, how fast did you run that? How much did you lift, right? You got to track that stuff, and once you start tracking it, you can start making more and more improvements on it. So.
Ever since I was little, I knew that I wanted to become some sort of professional athlete, whether it was hockey or baseball. And so fast forward to when I was 14 years old, I had to make a decision. Was it hockey or baseball? And I knew I always loved hockey, I was good at it, but I was always a little bit better at baseball. And so I made a decision to enter a couple baseball academies here in Alberta, one called the Okotoks Dogs Academy, the other Vauxhall Baseball Academy. And I was fortunate enough to get a scholarship from there to go down south to play in Texas, where for 2 years I went to a junior college, Midland College, and that really shaped me as a person, as a player. When I got there, I was only 6'1", 170 pounds, but what I learned there was work ethic. What I learned there was I had to go and compete with some of these bigger American players that have been bred from a very young age that they were going to be a professional baseball player. And so I had to go and compete with those guys. And you know what? I'm grateful for the programs here in Canada, because they really shaped us and prepared us for what was to come. And so at Midland, I had 2 very good years. First year I hit 400, hit over 10 home runs, had a ton of hits, ton of stolen bases, RBIs, but still scouts weren't calling me yet. You know, Division I colleges weren't calling me yet, and that bothered me, because I said, man, you know, I had a way better year than some kids who got offers or got drafted. So I said, you know what, let's go back to the drawing board, let's work even harder, let's work on my mental game a little bit. And so I came back my sophomore year and hit 420. Had a much better year. Fortunately, I was named the Junior College National Player of the Year. Now scouts started to call me. Division I school started to offer me scholarships. I had Oregon State, Kentucky, Texas A&M, Oklahoma State, Texas Tech. But where I landed was a smaller university, but a powerhouse named Texas Christian University. And when I came on campus, I was this high-profile player, National Player of the Year coming in. And for the first time in my life, I went from the highest of the highs to the lowest of the low. For the first week at camp, I blew out my hip. And for the first time, I was injured. I battled through an injury the entire fall. I got hip surgery, and I was expected to come back in 3 to 4 months. I came back, I was still in the opening day lineup, but I missed 4 months of playing, grooving my swing, making sure my feet are underneath me. And unfortunately, after a month, I landed on the bench, and that crushed me. But I always had work ethic in the back of my mind. I was always raised with strength of character. And so I made a decision that I was going to continue to work hard. I was going to continue being a good teammate. I was going to continue to show up, stay late, earn the respect of my coaches. I'm so glad I did that, because although I didn't play the rest of the year, we still went and played in the College World Series in front of 35,000 people. I got my scholarship back the next year as a senior, and I said, all right, this is it. I mean, I got one last year to shine. I got one last year to have a good year in college so I can get scouted to play professionally. And I did that. I was having a very good year. I was hitting 325. Scouts were calling me again. My hopes were high that I was going to get drafted. This was it. And 2 weeks before the draft, I'd play at second base. I slid in there, and I blew up my ankle. And I said, how can this be happening? I mean, I've devoted my entire life to a bat and the ball. This is my chance, and I happened to get hurt 2 weeks before the draft, which is the most crucial time as far as the position that I was in for a senior to get drafted. And I'll never forget it. It was the 40th round by the Los Angeles Angels. They had the last pick, and my name wasn't called. And right then and there, I mean, I said, my entire life was devoted to a bat and a ball, and now it's done. All the feelings I had, all the camaraderies I built, all the blood, sweat, and tears I poured into this sport, and it's done. Now I did end up on a high note. We made it to the College World Series again. This time I started, played in front of 35,000 people on ESPN primetime. It was the greatest time of my life.
Income. I want to talk about how we get paid. And in business owners understand that you need multiple income streams. So in our world, we get paid by doing the work, right? We get paid just like as an athlete, right? You play the game, you get paid. That's the whole idea. That's active income, right? That's one way in which we get paid. But we can also get paid. We get paid to maintain our clients, to keep our clients happy, their insurance programs, their investment programs. We get paid every single month on that stuff. So imagine you're an athlete and you get a sponsorship and it's your off season and Nike's still paying you, right? Or you film a commercial and every time that commercial plays, you're getting paid a little bit. Or imagine when somebody buys your jersey, every single time someone buys that jersey, you're getting paid a little bit, right? That's a residual income, right? And that's the second way. The third way in which we get paid is performance-based, right? So just like in playoffs, the better you play, the further you go, the more you get paid. So our playoffs are every single month, right? We get paid a bonus every single month based upon how our team performs. And this last way in which we get paid, imagine this. Imagine you had all this other stuff, right? You get paid to play, you get some residual income from some sponsorships, you get some bonuses in there. But imagine if you own the team. Think about that. So it's the whole package, not just getting paid up front to do the work, but imagine you running and you own the team. The better your team performed, right, the more you got paid. We pour time and energy into these people, making sure that they know how to perform to the best of their ability. And that's my business. It's no different than business. The better my business performs, right, the more opportunity my business has to generate income. So coming from sport and being involved in sports and then seeing this business, it made total sense. The light bulb went off. Now I can get paid for the work I'm doing up front, the active income, right? But I can also get paid for the work I've done in the past, the trails and the residual income that we can have. And then along the way, the better I perform, the more I can get in regards to bonuses. And this happens on a monthly basis. But then at the end of the day, I own the whole thing. So now I'm involved in the development of these individuals that are coming on board, making sure that they're hitting their goals. And then we become a high performance team and everybody wins. Our clients, our agents, and anybody who decides to build a business.
The draft ended and you asked me, what are your plans? Because we both had hopes of getting drafted. In fact, teams told us we were going to get drafted. And when the draft ended, I'll never forget when you called me and you said, "What's your plan?" That was a defining moment for me. That's when I had the plans of doing this, but at the same time, I still wanted to go and play. And I know for you, you still ended up playing.
Yeah, same standpoint for me. I think after that point, called out the scouts, see what they were thinking, and had to figure out from there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was tough. You know, especially after, you know, the last pick was Los Angeles Angels, and that came to an end. And pick up the phone, call the scouts, see if they're still taking people, and try and figure it out. And so, you obviously weren't looking at playing after the draft ended because that was.
Yeah, that was it for me. After I had my exit meeting with my coach, I'd pretty well made my decision. But I know for you, you were going to be a higher draft pick than me. In fact, you had teams telling you were going to go in the top 10 rounds. So for me, I was expecting more, 20, 30, the 20-ish rounds, 30-ish rounds.
Yeah.
But I couldn't imagine what you were feeling when you weren't taken, when teams literally told you, hey, you might go top 10.
Yeah, and then looked at playing after that. I looked at playing professionally over in Europe or Quebec Capitals and different teams, but then you have to make a decision and figure out, do you start your life or do you go play in the minor leagues for 10 years with hopes of making it?
And you understood the lifestyle that you were going to have to endure going that route. when I got started with this company, what struck me right away were these jerseys. And how it works is, at the beginning of the year, we have a Wealth Bowl, we call it, or a regional conference to go and recognize people for their efforts. And the MVP senior partner of that year gets gifted with a framed jersey that they get to put on the wall. And why this was emotional for me is because when I ended my baseball career, I played in a couple College World Series, and they had also gifted us with a framed jersey with their team logo, name on the back. And so when I saw this, it really brought me back to my roots. And I said, man, I can see myself with this company for the rest of my life. If you look at even certain sports like basketball, for example, if you're not a certain height, you're not going to make it.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't matter how good you can dribble, how good you can shoot in most cases. There's always an exception to the rule. But you know, your genetics also play a role. I mean, we even look at baseball now. Most pitchers are 6 feet plus. I mean, you have to be. Very rarely do you see a pitcher nowadays that's less than 6 feet tall.
Yeah.
And I'd say the same way with position players. You know, I mean, you're not going to find a first baseman that's under 6 feet. It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Right. And so that's the other thing that I love is that it doesn't matter your genetics. Again, you come into business, you learn our system, you learn how we operate, you work hard, you take those, you know, those attributes, those foundational attributes. It's inevitable that you'll become successful. I just don't know when. Is it 6 months from now? Is it 5 years from now? Is it 10 years from now when it'll really click? The other thing that I saw was, you know, even if it takes me 10 years to make $100,000 a year, which it won't, you know, if we work hard, and it didn't for the both of us. So it was a lot quicker than that. But even if it did, where can you even go today in Alberta that's going to pay you that kind of money? Above and beyond that, control of time, flexibility, the travel, the recognition, the camaraderie, and at the end of the day, we have no boss.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. So I know that you're running hard for your next promotion. What's your game plan to go and achieve that? Awesome. How can I help you through that? Okay. How about we set a meeting here later today, and we can go drop an exact game plan on how we can go and get you that senior partner promotion. When the draft ended and I knew that my season was over, I had an exit meeting with my coach, and I sat with him in his office, and I asked him, Coach, can't you find me a place to play? Isn't there a team out there, a professional club, still looking for players? Can't you find me an independent baseball team I can play on, a semi-pro club, so I can still have an opportunity to live my dream of playing in the major leagues? And he looked at me and he said, Jeremy, let me paint a picture for you. I can do that. But for the next 5-10 years, it's going to be a grind. You're going to be on 8-10-hour road trips, sleeping in rundown hotel rooms, making no money. You won't have much of a family life because you'll be gone all the time. Then after 5-10 years, you might get picked up by a professional team. And then from there, you've got to work through 6 different levels to get to the big leagues. Or you can go start a business and have my kids work for you one day. And I looked at him and I said, you know what, Coach, option 2 sounds pretty good to me. And so although I only graduated with a sociology degree, I knew that I wanted to be somebody. I wanted to take what I learned from baseball and implement it into the business world. I wanted to have impact. I wanted to have significance. And most importantly, I wanted to keep that feeling that I had for the last 18 years playing the sport that I loved and bring that into a place in business where I can go and thrive. And fortunately, World Financial Group came into my lap at age 22. And yes, I started at a young age. And yes, it was difficult. But because of all the skills I've learned from sports, from habits to discipline to coachability to showing up on time to showing up early, staying late, the competition, failure after failure after failure, the mental toughness that we've had to endure, I could take all of those attributes, put it into business, and 4 years later, we're in a pretty good spot. And it's exceeded all of my expectations. But I owe everything to that game. I owe everything to those programs. I owe everything to those coaches, because it really set me up for the man, the father, the husband, and the businessman that I am today. And I'm so grateful for what sports was able to bring for me here into business.
Every sport has its Hall of Fame. You want to get in the Hall of Fame, you got to do something special. We're no different. Hall of Champions. All of these earners up here are into the multiple 6-7 figure income. Hockey. Jarrett Sleds, hockey. Chad Thompson, baseball. Amber Bateman, figure skating. Mike Fox, football. You think having being an athlete has something to do with doing well here? I think so. Listen, the things that came with me from my athletic career, number one, work ethic. You don't achieve anything in life without work ethic. This works if you work. That applies to anything in life. And number two, ambition, right? I mean, you have to be something inside of you that just drives you and pushes you to be better. It's easy to be, the 7th, 8th place guy every time out of the gates. That's, you're just coasting, But to be that number one, number two spot, that's, a whole different beast. And athletes just get that. No athlete, has in his mind, I just want to be the number 5 guy, or I just want to be the number 6. Everyone wants to be the number 1 guy. So when you apply that to business, guess what? Your business takes off. And then 3, not giving up. If athletes don't give up. Even when I'm, dying on the hospital bed and I have 13 tubes coming out from every orifice of my body, all I could think about was how long till I can get back on the golf course. You don't know how to give up. It's go till you die. And when you bring that over, then no matter what you do and no matter what the platform, you're gonna succeed. You don't know how to not succeed and be the best.
I think the people who end up driving themselves to try and achieve more and become bigger and better, I think early on in their life, someone told them that they could. I think that's where it all started. Hey, you can be a great athlete, you can be a great golfer, you can be a great hockey player. You start to understand that it's our responsibility. And the responsibility can be a little bit intimidating, but for the right people, they want to shoulder that responsibility to become better, to become great. In the world, no one's really told how great they can be. That's what I love about our business.